feel so dirty when I pitch it right. I make you nervous, how I get you right. I feel so dirty when I pitch it right. Yeah, I make you nervous, how I get you right. Yeah, I think my hoe might be the preacher wife. Yeah, I mean my hoe might.
What's up, y'all? It's Grant with another episode of Groovy Files. And today's topic, we will be talking about the one, the only, Isaiah Rashad, one of the later members of TDE. And today I got with me Donovan.
Yo, what's going on?
And first thing we'll talk about Isaiah Rashad is how his career has panned out, especially coming into the rap scene with not Pieces of a Kid. What is it called? Is it called Welcome to the Game? I'm not sure. But it was originally, let me see what the name of this is. Because it's not like an official album, but it is something that his fans rave about. So give me a second. Yes, Welcome to the Game, unofficial mixtape. I don't think many people have, I ain't gonna lie to you. Sylvia Demo is easily one of the best debut albums from a rapper ever. I don't think we had to even debate that.
Whether Sylvia Demo or I don't know if was Sylvia Demo an album, or was it his official album, or was Sun's Tirade his official album?
I don't think. Let me
because
see.
Either way, like you said, that is one of the best debut albums by anyone ever. Whichever one was considered his official debut album. I feel like Sylvia Demo is like his Section 80. How it's like an album, I guess, but it's not necessarily a debut album. But I don't know. The music industry is weird, and what they label stuff as is weird. But Isaiah Rashad definitely came into a group that had done a lot of different things, and it was going to be really hard to cement himself differently, because TDE has certainly signed some people over the years that we do not like for a multitude of reasons. So it was going to be really hard for him to separate himself from that and to make himself not only loved and respected, but actually treated as an individual, and not just be like somebody on TDE. And he definitely he did all of that and more.
Because think of it, in 2014, Kendrick is currently working on To Pimp a Butterfly. Q just dropped Habits and Contradictions. And I think it's going to drop Oxymoron later that year. Later that year. Kendrick dropped Good Game Mad City and Section 8 already. Absol dropped Control System, but I know how a lot of people feel about him. So, but and to think this album now is arguably considered you can argue it is a top 5 TDE album. I have it as a top 5 TDE album. With To Pimp a Butterfly being first, Blank Face being second, Good Kid, Mad City being third. Honestly, some days I'm definitely inclined to put this as my top 3 favorite TDE albums. But to come on the scene with this, and I think what Sylvia Demo did was it executes the blueprint of what a debut album needs to have from front to back. Like you need to be able to show the people everything that you can do, no matter what. But also, and this is one of the traits that Isaiah Rashad has that I think is often overlooked, but also not a lot of people can do, is that when they try like a different sound out, or try something slightly different, they don't sacrifice the very thing that makes them good, because a lot of people kind of can do that. But Isaiah Rashad, if any Isaiah Rashad album, one thing I'm gonna know is that I'm gonna get some magnificent pen work. I don't ever have to worry about that, because his pen is like, he has a incredible pen, and which is why I grow to love him more and more each album cycle. And especially growing as an adult, I've always been like, Kendrick was my favorite rapper in TDE, and then Q second. But I think throughout the college years and like just being like a young adult, Isaiah Rashad has definitely cracked that number 2 spot for me. And honestly, a lot of days, sometimes number 1.
Yeah, he's definitely somebody where you could realistically place him anywhere, and I wouldn't be mad at it. Just because he's done so many things in really such a short amount of time, and his discography kind of speaks for itself at this point. Like, the penmanship is always there, the beat selection is there, the bars are there, the styles are there. Like, he can rap in so many different ways about so many different things, and it always sounds like Isaiah Rashad. So I never have to worry about him putting out something and it not sounding authentically him, or him trying out something and being like, he could have executed that better. That's just not something I've had to worry about so far. Everything from Sylvia demo to Sun's Tirade to The House is Burning has been really, really good. So yeah, for me, I would say I would still put Kendrick and Q above him, just for like my personal reasons. But for anyone that has him like number 1, number 2, wherever, very understandable, very phenomenal artist. Really one of the best of the last decade. So yeah, he's done his thing and will continue for a while.
I think gotta say some of my favorite Isaiah Rashad songs. And when we talk about like Southern influence, that nigga is definitely a Southern influence rapper. Like, I know a lot of people can't like see it or like hear it, but that nigga is definitely Southern influence. But
From Chattanooga,
Tennessee, to be exact. But also, side note, that nigga dropped didn't drop, but that nigga had some leaks come out called Music for the Virus this year. And that shit was good enough to be a full album. I'm not gonna lie to you. So I love that shit. It was like 50 minutes worth of leaks, but it had some incredible work on there. And it made me even more excited for the album, whenever the new official album, whenever it comes up. But
see, I remember when them leaks on SoundCloud came out. Well, I don't even know if you consider them leaks. This was like before The House is Burning dropped, or maybe this is I'm getting my timeline mixed up, or maybe this is only a little bit after Lord, my words. Maybe this is only a little bit after the Sun's Tirade drop, but that the I Mean song and that song Untitled with him and Gold Link was crazy. And
Entitled was great. The I Mean song.
I really wish I didn't hate Gold Link, because I love that song.
Gold Link is man. Gold Link was somebody. I'm not going to get too off tangent, but Gold Link was somebody that I felt like the music he made. I really liked what he was going for with all the music he made. He just thought he had too much juice off the dribble and wanted to be a dickhead.
Yeah,
not even being a dickhead. It was like, yes, being a dickhead, but even then, you got caught stealing too. So what are you doing?
Without getting too much off topic, I remember when Smino called him out for stealing stuff. So the fact that when Mac died, he was like, yeah, he is still my whole flow. I was like, yeah, I can never listen to this man again. And I hate it so much because I really feel like he had all the tools to be an upper echelon artist with all he was doing, and he just like he really threw it all away. I really have never seen someone fumble like that.
Man, like it really did upset me because I really did like I enjoyed his music like a lot. But back to Isaiah, yes, Entitled was crazy. I just never really expected that call out of them. But more importantly, I mean, is a perfect promo for an album. Like I've been listening to that song so much lately, and the amount of quotables he has in there alone is just kind of like nuts. Like he has one. It's like the niggas who hurt the worst be the funniest or something like that. And then
Yeah,
he's got so many quotes from the song, and not to mention that was the promo song for the Sun's Irate. Like that was a song that'd be like, okay, this album coming out. You know how when people do rollouts and everything, you drop one single, and the next single, and usually like announcement will come on. But like the cover art for it is titled like 9/2/16. So like the day it came out, the album came out. So I think like that's a great song. Other Isaiah Rashad songs that I love.
he said dudes who done had the worst time be the funniest.
Yes, that's it.
Back when they called me Akon, I was running shit. Vision is 60-40 something, but I'm kicking it. Like it was just like, oh my goodness.
He has mastered. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. He has mastered the ability to be a melodic, but not sacrificing your pen game. I'm close to saying that
he has mastered what Kendrick has with being able to be a melodic rapper without being able to sing. That's what I think that is. Like niggas like him, Kendrick and Nas, or they be singing hooks and they can't sing, but it fits anyway. Like that track is hard, but it's really cool when it works out.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like when I say I'm not trying to like compare the two, but I'm not gonna say Isaiah Rashad is like Kendrick Light because they do two completely different things with their projects. But at the same time, in terms of skill set, I feel like when we talk about somebody being close to Kendrick in his class, I feel like Isaiah Rashad is one of those people because of the pen game specifically, but I'm gonna get into that later. I feel like Hereditary is a great song, especially starting the album with my daddy taught me how to smoke my pain away. My dad told me that you don't have to like he said my daddy taught you that you don't need nobody. And I was like, damn, this nigga is hurt. But at the same time, this nigga is rapping so like this nigga was rapping so well in the whole project. Like when you first listen to it, like maybe like the very first time you listen to it, you're just so focused on the rapping. But like as time goes on, you get focused, you key in more and more on the pen work. Like it's songs like Heavenly Father that before I like started listening to music like more seriously, that has such an upbeat feel. But at the same time, when you listen to that song more and more and more and more and more, it's so fucking sad.
Heavenly Father is one of the most beautiful songs
it's elite sad rap
ever heard in my life. Like I remember hearing that song for the first time, and I was like, I had in my journey of like musical discovery, I had really just started getting into more like or being more open to stuff like that, and being more like, I don't know, listening to more of what people had to like say and things like that. So that song was really beautiful to me because, you know, it was extremely vulnerable, especially for being something where that was really the first of that most people were getting of Isaiah Rashad. So most of the time, like people do like a debut project and you kind of expecting like, you know, something just to solidify themselves with. But that project was very open and it was just really beautiful. It was very sad. Like I remember getting really emotional and really teary-eyed about it. Like SZA on that hook singing, just singing Heavenly Father, and then him rapping about all that stuff. Like it was crazy.
Like I'm trying to think of more songs on that album. Like Sylvia Demo is like a literal like death lineup. Like I can pick a top 5 off that album. Like I can pick a top 5 off that album, and I could put it up against somebody else's and be like, damn, this shit tough. Like this album really just like it shows Isaiah Rashad's versatility so much, like in terms of just flow and like the types of songs he can make while also being still keeping his pen intact. And then finishing the album with Shot You Down, which is what I think is in all 3 of those TDE rappers on that song, Isaiah Rashad, J Rock, and Q. I could argue that is one of the best rap performances.
Yeah, I think out of like every time like a group of TDE members get together, it's always memorable, and that is definitely one of the better ones. Even still, like they all fit together on that so well. Even with it being a 7-minute song, like they all shined. For me, I would have to say like I think my 5 favorite songs on this project were Hereditary, Ronnie Drake, Modest, Heavenly Father, and Brad Jordan.
I think my top 3 were Heavenly Father, Tranquility, and then Rip Kevin Miller. But I do want to talk about what do we see for his like career. Like if his career were to end today, what do we see for his career? Like what would we label it as? I would say one of the best pen games of his time. I would also say that if he was quote unquote technically a blog from like came up in the blog era, like was running with some of the blog era rappers, I would also argue that he still has a pen that can rival theirs. I think he goes down as one of the best rapper songwriters of all time from his era. The definition of being able to make melodic music without sacrificing your strengths. 3, not having a bad project. Because people say they don't like. First of all, people say they don't like The House is Burning, because I have heard that take before, and I was kind of like, I get why you say that, because this album is easily his most melodic out of his last 2. But at the same time, I don't get it, because it's like nothing has really changed besides like kind of like the upbeatness of the music. Like The House is Burning is probably easily the most upbeat thing that he's ever made in terms of like just sound. But like the pen didn't leave. And this nigga still rapping about like the same shit. Like, well, not necessarily the same shit, but like, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
Like,
don't think when rappers kind of like, I don't know, people know them for more rapidy rap stuff, and then
they
when they
switch it up
try
and then
to
it doesn't
maneuver
look good.
away from that a little bit, people try to act like, oh, they're like selling out or something, or they won't be open to it. It's kind of like
Kendrick is probably the best
yeah,
example.
it's the way that people did Damn, and it's the way people try to view it. Like people won't give certain type of rap a chance because of just they're stuck in their ways. And people really stigmatize people who exclusively listen to the radio uh because they won't give like their favorite rappers a chance, which is whatever. But at the same time, they do that to other people when their favorite rappers try to do more, mainstream non-rapidy rap stuff. Like sometimes people don't want to do that all the time, or I don't want to do that all the time. Like I can't do that all the time for the rest of my career if I want to be in a certain place. And sometimes me doing that doesn't mean the integrity of my music is gone. It's like I just found a new way to talk about it. Like I had to evolve. Like I can't rap the same way forever, and I shouldn't be penalized for that.
Like it's just kind of like, yeah, like people all, yeah, like I don't like when people always attribute it to selling out. If artists, if some artists made the same music every single, like in terms of saying every single time, I don't think they have the same love for music anymore. Because like, here's the thing: you have people that are kind of like locked into that and like it's love what they do, but you have people that are bound to experimentate. Like they are bound to experiment, and they love that too. They shouldn't be. Nobody should be penalized for like experimenting. Like when I say penalized, you can say something that is bad, like something that's bad, or like you don't like it. That's one thing, but automatically saying, "Oh, he's selling out," or like, "Oh, he's doing blah 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 blah." Like, what are you talking about? Because the thing is, people try commercial records because, of course, money matters when making music. Like, some people do it because of that. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Or some people want to just break into the mainstream space. There's nothing wrong with that. Or some people, like everybody has like a different focus, but like every single thing doesn't have some big ulterior motive or this big isn't some sort of damning evidence. And it's pretty normal for somebody who comes with a critically acclaimed body of work to make something to open up to new fans after, or decide, okay, I make this type of music for a certain amount of time. I want to shift it up a little bit. I want to shift it up a bit. There's nothing wrong with that. Too many times we put rappers in a box. And I think the biggest thing that people need to understand is that sometimes not everything is selling out. And sometimes not everything is just about you. People are fans of albums too much, I feel like, and not fans of an artist. Which is okay because I get it. But at the same time, people can't tell if something is like what makes something good or not. Like I hate to sound like kind of like a dickhead, but for instance, when niggas say, "Oh, I want that old Kendrick back," or like, "I want that Section 80," or Kendrick back. First of all, that sound is dead and gone. He done told y'all multiple times that he's not really gonna try to make a body of work like the same body of work because we'll be fun of it. But also, his pen game didn't change. Like the core, when a lot of times when artists branch out in terms of sound, people act like the core traits stayed the same. Like the core traits changed when they didn't. That's my thing. It's a lot of when there's very few instances where it's like, okay, this nigga made something like completely left field. Like for instance, like with Gambino, even then, it wasn't even completely left field because he was hinting at it. But yeah, like we have to forget too many times we forget these people are artists and they're bound to experiment, and like you shouldn't automatically be assuming that somebody sold out, especially when artists want to make money.
It's not even that forgetting that people are artists. It's that forgetting that people are human, really. It's like naturally we're all bound to wanting to try new things, and whether that's to try a whole new endeavor or to like just change things up in the medium that we participate in now. Like no one expects like a visual artist to make the same type of art they always make. Like maybe I want to do sculptures, or maybe I want to go from painting to drawing or something like that. Like I can't be reasonably expected to always do like, you know, realism or stuff. Like maybe I want to do like futuristic fantasy drawings. No one really expects them to stay that way forever. So we shouldn't hold these artists to the same standards because humans naturally want change, or at least like to change things up when things get too comfortable.
Like everybody, all artists go through seasons. Like there's some people, like all artists go through seasons in their life, like just like regular humans. And like it's not in like interest change and like creativity isn't just like this one thing. Like if I ain't gonna lie to you, if I had to listen to every single artist I listen to was trying to recreate the same thing every single time, I would stop listening to him. Because why would I listen to something where like, why would I listen to it? Like that takes the fun away. People try to make music so robotic, and I hate it. Or like this, or just any art form. Like I understand if like somebody is doing something, like if they have a certain formula working for them, that's fine. But like I don't think it's fair to just expect it every single time. Cause like artists are human. Like that's not saying you can't like critique it, but that's my thing. But back to Isaiah Rashad in general, I think the last thing I'm gonna say is that he is an excellent rapper at talking about mental health. I don't think there's five rappers I can name right now that's better than him talking about that topic. Cause he has a way of, his writing has a way of saying, okay, things can get better. He captures the nuances of life so well in his music, like in terms of like mental health and just in general, that I feel like a lot of people aren't able to do. Like for instance, Isaiah Rashad is gonna let you know that it's a circle. Like your feelings are gonna happen again, or everything not gonna be bad all the time, but not everything not gonna be good all the time, but not everything gonna be bad all the time, and then so on and so forth. He captures that like nothing is permanent in such a great way to where and that you can be unsure of yourself too. Like that's okay. It's okay to not have all the answers. So I feel like he's incredible when capturing the nuances of life, which makes him so special to me, like in terms of a rapper.
Yeah, I think people don't realize how hard it is to rap about certain things without sounding corny. And he does a very good job of that without sounding that way. It always just sounds very genuine, something that he's actually like lived through, and it's really just it's honest. And that's really the only thing that you could ask for. So yeah, I really have to give him his props for that.
But we gonna end it there. Thank you for another episode of the Groovy Files. Shout out to you, Donovan, of course. Biggest thing, I got a lot of stuff coming this year. More pieces, more YouTube content, everything like all that. But other than that, we appreciate you guys for logging on and checking this episode out. Y'all stay easy. I'm out.